Hi guys, what's up? It's Johnny here and welcome to another episode of The SIC Show. I'm super pumped to be here as always. I'm here with my main man B. How are you, buddy?
Good, I'm feeling Parisian today.
Parisian? I actually found out what that is today.
Do you like my little fashion statement?
It's lovely, man. Love it, love it. This week on the show we interview the magical street photographer Valérie Jardin and find out about Valerie's voiceover magic.
And Valerie inspires us with a magical minimalist street photo from Paris. And Valerie also teaches us, you know, shooting for yourself, it feels like magic.
So important. Let's get into it.
Enjoy.
The SIC Show. Share, inspire, create.com. Share.
Okay, Valerie, share something that not many people would know about you.
Well, not a lot of people know about this unless they're local friends. I've been a voiceover talent longer than I've been a photographer, which means, well, it's mostly in French because that's my native language. So I do recordings for anything from commercials to like airline announcements or corporate videos, medical stuff. And occasionally, because they know I'm French, they call my agent and say, oh, could we use her for English with a French accent? And my accent is not your typical, you know, the French accent. And so it never works. And they say, well, could you just fake it? And if I fake it, I'm going to sound like Steve Martin in the Pink Panther because it sounds really, really fake. And so I said, no, I really can't fake it. It just comes naturally. So then they use my voice, my English voice for English with an international flair. So that's how I'm typecasted. So yeah, that's a little, but it's fun. I've been doing this for 20 some years and I'm still doing it regularly. So.
Can you do the airline one for us?
Oh, I'd like to hear
one, it was the French one about, you know, fasten your seatbelt, and they have to record that every year, believe it or not. It's FAA regulation here.
Oh, really?
So give it to us, Valerie.
I was like, Mesdames et Messieurs, veuillez attacher vos ceintures. Nous allons décoller dans quelques instants. It would mean like, please fasten your seatbelt. We'll take off in a few minutes.
I actually want to hear "Welcome to the SIC Show, yo."
Yes.
Bienvenue à l'émission SIC. There.
I like it. I like
skipped
that.
the end, but because there was no French equivalent.
Yeah. I like that. Oh, that's awesome. Thanks for sharing that. What an awesome fact.
Inspire.
All right, Valerie, inspire us with one of your amazing images.
Oh, the one that I selected for you guys is something actually I shot last week in Paris. Because I'm always, you know, you always try to raise the bar and try new things. And this one I was actually pretty happy with because I did not stage, I did not wait for a long time. You know, sometimes as a street photographer, you envision the shot and then you know where you need to be. Now you just need the right person to walk through your frame because not every subject makes a good subject. And so there I was waiting for a friend actually at La Grande Arche, which is if you're in Paris, there is the business district, which you can see from a distance. Like if you're at the Eiffel Tower, you can see it really well. It looks like a modern American city. It's all, you know, tall towers, very modern. And so I was waiting for a friend there, and I turned around, and of course I always have my camera on, and I turn around, and I was underneath what they call La Grande Arche, which is a big square, basically. And it's very minimalist, lots of lines. And I like to incorporate the human elements in the urban landscape because, well, sometimes it complements the landscape, but more often than not, in a modern landscape, you have so many lines and angles, and then you have the soft human element entering the frame. And so I turned around, and I knew I would get a subject, isolate a subject in that frame. But then this elegant woman with high heels wearing black, which is awesome. My countrymen always wear black, and it's so cool for us street photographers, and they always dress nice. So I saw her walk up, and I just had the time to grab the shot where she was actually, so she's going from, so I'm breaking a lot of rules there, which makes the shot more interesting. She's going from right to left, which is against the natural, you know, way we go from left to right to left, and she's walking out the frame on the upper left, and she seems to be fighting the elements. She's been, and it was very windy, and the wind was channeling towards her, so she seems to be almost defying gravity and fighting the elements by bending over slightly, and I just got her in the right step, and everything just fell into place, and I just really like that shot, because without the human element there is no shot. But you add the human element in such an interesting urban landscape, then you have a really interesting image.
Oh, I love it, Valerie.
So, and it happened, it was serendipity. I mean, the thing you can learn from there is really be ready. You always have your finger on the shutter so that your camera doesn't fall asleep. And you just, get your settings ready. Let the camera do a lot of the thinking for you, because it's street photography. You only have a fraction of a second. And then when the scene presents itself, you just have to grab the shot. Because you can't control a whole lot in street photography except your vision and then your technical skills. So the rest, it's just happened. It's chance. And there, I only had 5 minutes because my friend showed up, and I got that shot, which I was really happy with. And maybe if I had waited there for 2 hours for that shot, it would have never happened.
Yeah, exactly. Wow, it's amazing what you can see by the body language of the woman walking up the stairs. By her all covered up with her jacket and her briefcase or whatever over her shoulder.
Yeah, probably going on her lunch break from work or something. Okay. It's a business area, so. Yeah.
And I must say your countrymen are really well dressed.
Yeah, look at those she's in high heels, and I also really like where she is on the step too. That you said she's just at that place where she's taken a stride up another step, and I just love the way you frame the stairs in the bottom left. They're just pulling you into her, and actually the outline of the stairs from the bottom right also. If you follow the line up, are leading up into where she is as well. The way the image is shot symmetrically, it looks amazing. Really.
Thank you. Yeah, I like minimalism, and that's definitely a minimalist shot. But you're right. I mean, I love shooting in Paris, and my students are always in awe at how well dressed people are, and that makes for a much more interesting subject in the street, for sure. People don't put their tennis shoes during the lunch break to leave the office. They keep their high heels or whatever. Yeah,
that's it. So if that was a lunch break, it probably would have been quite busy to actually get that snap with only one person in the shot, and is that something that is always a challenge in street photography? Trying to find that minimal shot in such a busy city. For sure. And I'm more of a minimalist street photographer. I'm not in your face or in big crowd. I like to isolate subjects. So ideally, you have one in a spot like this, one subject is great. You could have had 3. You could have really balanced 3 subjects really well, but 2 would not really work unless one is going up, one is going down. And so really try to isolate the subject. So it's just, it's part of the game. It's part of the fun. It's part of the hunt, really. That's why we do what we do.
It's got to be quite a challenge, hey? I mean, photographing in a public area and not being noticed, that's got to be a bit of a challenge.
Yeah, well, I carry a small camera, so it's pretty inconspicuous. But I used to shoot with the DSLR, and having to bring it to my eye, and you just learn you just become invisible. You just the more you do it, the more you get to be more invisible. And if people see you, no big deal. You're not doing anything wrong. So.
Okay. Has anyone ever come up to you and said, hey, I don't want my picture taken?
It happens. And then you explain to them what you're doing. You're documenting life in the city. And because they don't know what it is, most people don't know what street photography is. And so the minute you educate them and you tell them what you're doing, then they're okay with it. And you're not capturing them in an embarrassing situation or vulnerable situation. There's nothing in that picture that this woman would feel bad about. She would probably like a copy of it, if anything. So I would, and I always offer, if people come to me or if I'm doing a street portrait, I usually give them my card. So
Awesome.
Yeah, that's great. So moving to the mirrorless camera, has that changed your sort of inconspicuous shooting in the city? Like you said, you don't look through the viewfinder now. I noticed you said you're obviously using the screen on the back. Has that changed the game for you? Made it easier?
Definitely. I mean, I think I just get away with shots that I probably would never dare shooting. Like if I'm sitting in the subway in New York, just 3 feet from somebody who is just in front of me, I'm taking pictures of them because my camera is completely silent and they don't know I'm shooting. Because it's not because I'm afraid that they see I'm shooting, but if they see me, then I'm completely disturbing the story and the scene. So the point is to remain invisible so you capture life as it is, and if they make eye contact with me and then they change whatever they're doing, then it's not as interesting. So so the smaller camera, people don't take you as seriously either. You look like a tourist, so that's definitely a bonus. And then my camera is completely silent, so you could be right next to me, you could be an inch from it, you would not know it's taking a picture. Sometimes I don't even know I press the shutter because it's that silent.
Yeah, and what kind of camera is it, Valerie? And does the back
I use the Fuji X, the little Fuji rangefinder.
X1, is it?
X100S.
X100, okay.
And I do have an XT1 that's my backup, and I only use prime lenses. Well, this one you only have one lens; you can't take it off, and it's just. Oh wow. It's taking. It becomes an extension of you and your vision, and it doesn't come in the way, which DSLRs tend to do, especially if you carry extra lenses. I never did, even when I was shooting street photography. I would never carry an extra lens with me, but this you can't anyway, so it's great. Okay,
and how do you carry it on you? Is it in your purse?
Always in my hand. I have a wrist strap, and I have the finger on the shutter all the time. Okay. And it's ready to shoot, ready to fire when the right subject comes by.
Really good advice there for choosing it.
Totally.
A street
and just one more technical question, Valerie. Do you shoot in aperture priority mode?
Most of the time, I'm very rarely in full manual, so aperture priority most of the time.
Okay,
and I play a lot with the ISO, and then it all depends. If I'm doing long exposure, then I would switch to shutter priority. Okay. But if I'm shooting at night and I want to get some motion blur or whatever.
Oh wow! So awesome. Interesting. Well, thanks for inspiring us with that amazing image.
And the story behind it's great too. I love it.
One last question. What do you do with these images when you got something that is that beautiful? What do you actually do with it?
Well, I do sell some fine art street photography, not a whole lot. This one would actually sell because people just don't buy pictures of strangers that you see up close. But something like that is more artsy, so that will actually go on my my store. But usually I use them for educational purposes, presentation for my workshops. When I do speaking engagement, that could be a sample for a minimalist or incorporating human elements in the urban landscape. And then when I write articles, then I use them for that. Just shoot for me now, so.
Okay.
That's great. Awesome. Thanks for sharing the image. It's really inspiring.
Yeah. Thanks.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Create.
All right, Valerie, teach us something.
Well, I used to shoot for clients, and I was a commercial photographer for many years until I quit, ditched the clients, ditched the DSLR, and then started shooting for me and teaching others. And when you shoot for clients, you constantly have to satisfy someone else. And that's fine. It's often a compromise between your vision and their vision, and you always have to work with that. And but most photographers out there are just shooting for themselves. I mean, there are a few working photographers, but I'm sure in your audience, it's mostly hobbyist photographers. And I feel like a lot of time, and I see it all the time when I mentor people, they always like, oh, but I want the likes. People are so into pleasing others, and I'm like, but is that why you picked up photography in the first place? Because most people picked up photography before social media even existed. And I said, when you picked up photography in the first place, was it to please others, or was it because it makes you happy? And then they start reflecting on that. I said, yeah, you're right. I mean, it's just for me. And I said, that's the best thing ever, is to be a hobbyist photographer and to shoot just for you, to make yourself happy. And I think, like in street photography, for example, it's not the most liked genre of photography. If I could put a picture of my Jack Russell Terrier on Facebook this afternoon, I'll get 300 likes right away. I'll put the picture of the woman going up the stairs, I'll get a third of those likes, because people like puppies and things like that, and flowers and landscapes. And so street photography, you're not doing that for the likes. You really do it for yourself. And but a lot of people kind of get stuck. They want to copy other people because they see they really that their work is really popular. But it reflects your personality, so you really can't fake it. You can't copy other people's work. You have to be yourself. And I think in photography in general, and for me in street photography, your work really reflects your personality, and it's an emotion. So do it for yourself, unless you're working for clients. That's the best thing ever. I'm so happy now. I don't work for clients anymore. I just shoot for me. People like it, great. They don't, too bad. They don't have to come and learn from me. So it's really all about making myself happy and the satisfaction of teaching others to see, and that's the best thing ever. So just a little reminder that really who's the most important person in your photography? It's really yourself.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, I still work. I work for the National Park Service here as a full-time photographer, videographer, and often, even though I'm out in the national park, I'll be taking pictures of picnic areas and people in picnic areas. And you know what? Yes, you're out there doing photography and wonderful. They're paying me to take photos, but it still is a creative drain. Because I'm not inspired by the things I've got to take photos of, but that's what they need. So it is such a wonderful thing to have that freedom to be able to go out there and shoot whatever you want, whatever you're passionate about, and you really should. Yeah, I love that tip from you. You should grab that by the horns and get out there and do it, and don't worry what everyone else is doing. Do what makes you happy and what you're feeling.
That's true. And if you do what you love, you're going to make better work. Don't try to please others. Do what makes you happy, and your work will shine for sure.
Yeah, and I guess it comes back down to inspiration. If you are working for money, as I am, full-time portrait photographer and other photography, sometimes you're obviously shooting for a client, and it may not be something that inspires you, and it does, like Johnny says, it sometimes is a creative drain. So what I would say to people, if that is a situation, is find your own personal project, like street photography. See, I've never really tried street photography, and I'm quite interested in going out there. I was a little bit scared that people would come and beat me up if I took their picture. So
you're in Australia. So I was in Australia last year actually teaching in February, and people were so easy. They're really friendly. So
yeah, they are. I know, but I've got some big lenses, so I just wonder.
Yeah, you need a little mirror.
I probably wouldn't want to be out there with a
use your smartphone. Use your smartphone. Yeah, a lot of my students use their smartphone. Yeah.
So I think if someone is working as a professional photographer, they should find a personal project like street photography that they can go out and just do for themselves, and that way you keep creative juices flowing.
That's what I did throughout my career as a commercial photographer, and that keeps the passion alive too, because once you turn your hobby into a job, it quickly becomes a job. And that happened to me. I got into a rut where I started leaving the camera at home on weekends because it became my job, and that's when I started working on personal projects and blogging and sharing. And making the commitment to share. That way you're going to do it, and then that way you learn so much, because you can really raise the bar, and also challenge yourself. That way it will work in your commercial work as well, in your client work, because anything can really present itself to you. If you've shot all kinds of different things for yourself, you'll be more able to adapt and answer the needs too. So I think that's really important.
Well, that's great. Thanks for teaching us that, Valerie. And tell us what inspires you right now in photography?
Well, whenever I'm out with my camera, I'm in the zone. I forget anything that's happening, good or bad. I'm completely in the zone. So for me, it's being in a city. Just got back from Paris last week, so being back in Minneapolis in February when it's well below 0 Fahrenheit, and most of the time it was 6 below this morning, Fahrenheit that is. And so it's hard because the streets are not very busy, so you have to shoot mostly indoors in museums and stuff. But hey, I'm working on a museum series. Museum goers, people people interacting with art, and I photograph. I do candid street photography inside on cold days. There is always, as long as there are people, I'm happy. So as long as I have my camera and there are people, I'm happy.
Is there one place other than Paris, or maybe it's Paris, that inspires you the most?
Well, that's home, so it is really close to my heart. New York would be next, and I teach workshops in New York as well, and I love New York. But it was really cool in Melbourne last year. I really loved it. If it wasn't so far, I would be there again this year.
Tell me about it.
Yeah.
When we fly anywhere to meet people, it's like 12 or 15 hours.
Yeah, it's always you need a day and a half.
I know that you guys travel so much. I mean, on my workshops, I always have several Australians coming to Paris, and they do travel. It's nothing for them. They come to Paris, to Rome.
Yeah.
It's like, no big deal.
Okay. Yeah. Awesome. Good. And maybe you should. Maybe now's a good time to tell us a little bit about your workshops.
Yeah, I teach week-long workshops that are all about seeing photographically with a big emphasis on street photography. And then weekend workshops are all about street photography. And so they're in Paris, they're in New York, LA at the end of the month, and pretty much all over, Rome in April. And so it's all on my website. So people can just go there and check it out.
Awesome. Yeah, we'll put that link up now and
in the show notes.
Yeah, and me in the show notes. Awesome. Oh, that's I want to get a little mirrorless and head to Sydney now, mate. Yeah, it's awesome. Because I actually spent about a year and a half working in Sydney, and you know what? I love minimal photography as well. That it sort of shines in my landscapes a fair bit, and I struggled. I really struggled capturing minimal images like this beautiful example you've shown us today. It's it really is a skill to catch a photography in such a busy location. I love it. Awesome.
And it's fun, and it makes your travel much easier. You don't have to get up before dawn to just get the city without anybody in it. The more people, the better. So just go out there and embrace the people, because a lot of time I see people waiting to get everybody out of the shot, and to me that lacks interest. It's like, no, you need people. They're the soul of the place. Why travel if you don't include the locals in your shots?
Yeah,
exactly. I must say, when I had that Fuji film in New Zealand, the little one, XE2, I think it was, with the 18mm or something, I used that a lot.
Yeah, you did.
Taking behind the scenes footage of when we're creating a course. I think it does help to have a small inconspicuous camera. Yeah, that does help. Yeah.
You know what?
I need another coffee.
Yeah, another coffee.
It's liberating. It's liberating, to have something smaller and inconspicuous. There.
That's it. Yeah, there we go.
And Valerie, I'd love for you to tell our audience about your awesome podcast.
Thank you. Yes.
Let's mention that, because it's amazing.
I'm the host of Street Focus, which is part of the TWIP network. And Street Focus, we just released today our episode 20, and it's all about street photography. So it's at thisweekinphoto/street. Or Street Focus. Either one.
We'll put that in the notes too. Yeah, definitely. Guys, if you're interested in street photography, check that out. It's an awesome podcast, and it's great. 20 episodes. Woo!
Yeah, I know. It's weekly. So.
Yeah, that's good. Awesome.
Great. Well, thank you, Valerie, for coming on the show. And you really did inspire us with that amazing image from Paris. Love it. Yeah. And I'm inspired. I'm going to go out there and get some photos and some street photography. So definitely.
Good. Join the Street Focus group on Google, and then share your street shots.
Well,
that's it. Awesome. Perfect. We'll put a link to that in the notes as well. That's, Thank you so much for being on the show. it's been epic having you. See that? I didn't say awesome. I said epic. Thanks, guys. Yeah. I said epic. It's been epic having you on the show.
I'm just saying, someone complained about us saying awesome too much.
Awesome too much. So I'm trying to switch out awesome for epic and brilliant and amazing.
There we go.
Brilliant.
Brilliant.
And one last thing, Valerie, when you go, can you say goodbye or adios or something in French?
Au revoir, les amis.
Teach me how to say that. Au revoir.
Au revoir. See, don't try so hard. Don't try so hard. Au revoir.
Au revoir. All right, maybe we should have another episode on languages. It's coming soon. Yeah, get Valerie on and get a few others. That'd be great. Awesome.
That was fun.
Thanks for being on the show.
Thanks. Take care.
Bye. Thank you.
Oh, what a magic interview with Valerie.
Ah, she was epic. Yeah, I love that image. That minimal image from the Grande Arch.
Is that what it was?
I don't know. Okay. I just made it up.
She said it to me, but I didn't quite catch it.
No, I didn't. Actually, when she speaks French, it's quite fast. It's hard to catch. But I really like that new intro we can use for the SIC show, man. Welcome to the SIC show, yo, in French.
Yes. Say it.
I don't know, man. I don't know how to say it. Oh, it was awesome. And the fact she used to be a voiceover, that's pretty cool.
Voiceover, for the airlines and all sorts of things.
Actually, I was really surprised she didn't have a strong accent, eh?
No, I noticed it afterwards.
Did you?
Just a couple of words.
Ah.
But yeah, she's a very American accent.
Yeah, very. Yeah, but she's awesome. Yeah,
great.
And her workshops, they sound like magic.
This is a magic show.
It is. It's the magic show. It's the street magic show.
Okay, totally.
Yeah, no, this is good.
Actually, I want to go to one of those workshops because I want to learn how to do it. Like, what are the skills you need to take photos without people knowing that you're taking photos and not actually changing the scene by taking the picture.
Yeah, and the other thing I really love about the way she spoke about that is it's not about the technical settings. She says, even in a workshop, she'll tell people to put it on auto. It's about learning to see what's there and capturing the moment. And yeah, like she said, sometimes you may only have seconds to get that right frame exactly how you want it when you're in the city. And man, it is a real skill. It's real. You have to be really creative.
Definitely.
To get that.
And what I love about what you said in the create section, teaching us about shooting for yourself, and that's
good advice.
That goes to my heart because often when you're shooting for money and it becomes a job,
it does,
and you lose the passion.
You do.
And go out there and shoot for yourselves, guys. Get a personal project. Street photography, I think that's my new one.
Yeah.
I'm going to go out there. I'm going to get a little mirrorless camera so I can actually go record. Like I went away last week to Melbourne. I didn't even take my camera.
Yeah, it's because it's too big.
It's too big. Yeah, I took my phone and I took a couple of pictures with my phone,
which is still great. Yeah,
but I'd love to have like a shallow depth of field lens, a proper like a nice lens where you can actually get those awesome images.
Yep.
But it's inconspicuous.
Yeah, he said it. That was after another coffee, by the way. We had a coffee in the break. So.
That's it. Yeah, good.
Yeah, but that's another awesome show, mate. Yeah.
I thought I'd be a little more fashionable. With the Paris
I love
theme.
it, man.
Yeah, you like it?
Gangster, bro.
Okay.
Yeah, so guys, please go and check out Valerie's website, and don't forget to check out Street Focus, her podcast on the TWIP network, This Week in Photo. Awesome show, awesome network.
Great,
I've been listening to This Week in Photography for such a long time. Fred's awesome. So, get on to it.
Yes,
and I've said awesome like 5 times. Thanks, Kate.
Yeah, there we go. We'll say magic more
Epic.
now.
Magic.
That was a magic show. And guys, please leave us some magical comments below and on iTunes.
Thank you. We really appreciate it.
Yes.
And if you love what we're doing, please share the show. We want to get the word out there, so share it on social networks, share it with your neighbor next door and wherever. Yeah. Just share the love.
Share the photo magic.
The photo magic. Yeah, it's magic this week.
Awesome, guys, and we'll see you in the lounge.
Yeah, see you in the SIC lounge, guys. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
To find out more, go to shareinspirecreate.com.